Yo, what's good, everybody? A little midweek stream, early week. Technically, it's still a Tuesday, but yeah, I was just like chilling, and then I was like, I feel like streaming. I feel like hopping on YouTube and streaming because today we're gonna be reacting to an NC Hammer video that I have been meaning to react to, but I totally forgot about. And then someone recently just reminded me. They're like, damn, weren't you supposed to talk about that NC Hammer video? And then I was like, yeah, shit, let me do it. Fuck it, let's do it. Tobirama's a kid Naruto victim, to be honest. Yeah, Spectre. You're yeah. He actually, you know what, he might be. You know what, fuck Tobirama. Tobirama stronger than Hashirama? Hey, that might be true, bro. That might be true. Tobirama just might have infinite speed since he was he was able to outspeed Minato's flying Raijin, like literal instant teleportation. So Tobirama might just be slamming everybody in the verse, just straight immeasurable speed. What's up, Morgan? What's up, Kumar? So we already started the stream off with bad takes in the chat. I think the only person that had a bad take so far, Spectre, is you. You loser. You bitch. It's gonna be a Tobirama slander video, isn't it? Yeah, from NC. Well, I don't know if it's a slander video, but from NC, it's called. Well, I think it's like everyone versus the Kinkaku Force. So it's like anyone in the series who can beat Kinkaku and Ginkaku. So he's like basically. I bet NC is under the assumption that Kin and Gin are stronger than Tobirama. So like everyone that he lists that can beat these guys, he probably thinks would be Tobirama by extension. That's just my guess. But we'll have to wait and see. I already got that 199 euros from Steven. What's up, my boy? Gamabunta might solo Kin and Gin. What y'all think, chat? Gamabunta soloing Kin and Gin? I don't know what, like real talk. I don't know what Gamabunta is doing about like the 6-pass tools. Like he might just get like screwed over by the 6-pass tools. Like I don't know if he has any counter for that shit. Bro, was your thumbnail inspired by me? I always be saying you have an agenda and sprout propaganda jokingly. No, I was just like fuck it. Like if I put Minato and Tobirama. Like, I mean, if I put, like, Tobirama beating up Minato on the thumbnail, when this video realistically has nothing to do about Minato versus Tobirama, like, more people would come in and watch it, but, I mean, I will talk about Minato versus Tobirama if I got to, but, like, I just thought it was funny. Like, Tobirama just kind of, like, bullying Minato on the thumbnail, and then, like, calling it propaganda, It's like, what do you call it? Self-conscious type shit. Kid Naruto victim is a W take. Whole verse is a Kid Naruto victim. Bro, I read the manga in low key. People be shitting on Tobirama. He's strong as fuck. Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's pretty strong. He's beating Minato, that's for sure. Propagandizing to reach the truth, cartel gang. Yeah, I guess. Tobirama's beating Itachi, facts. Tobirama would factually slam Itachi, that is true. How did Tobirama lose to Madara if he had speed hacks? Couldn't he have just used the tandem paper bombs with the Shadow Clone and FTG? The way Madara made it sound is that Tobirama is like physically weaker than he was when he was alive, which makes him less capable of doing things like that. And obviously Madara was physically stronger than he was when he was alive and in his prime because he had Hashirama cells, the Renegon, Sage mode, all these things he didn't have during his fight against Hashirama and shit. So like Madara is stronger than he ever has been before, and Tobirama is weaker than he's ever been before. So that's kind of the reason. That's my interpretation of that. That's why like Madara was kind of talking down to Tobirama at that point. Don't forget to like the stream. That's right. Appreciate that, Morgan. I like the stream, boys. Kin and Gin gonna croak? Yeah, probably. Sasuke still claps Kid Naruto? That is true. The only person in the verse who is not a Kid Naruto victim is Sasuke, because Sasuke in the story beat Kid Naruto. That is true. Loco, nobody thinks about this, but Tobirama is the reason Madara even acquired his EMS. Tobirama is a Kid Rock Lee victim. Why is he a Kid Rock Lee victim? I guess because Tobirama didn't tag Madara, he teleported near Madara, so he got blitzed by him. I don't know, it's just kind of like Madara reacted to him and kind of like precogging him with the Sage Mode Danger Sense. You could say that's what happened. Obviously, Madara was like, I'd say he's like at least relative to, if not physically faster than Tobirama at that point in time, because Tobirama was weakened. But like Tobirama did get the drop on him. Like Tobirama was about to stab Madara like right in his shit, but like I think Madara would have had to have used like a Limbo clone or like a Susanoo or something to save himself, because like he was in a really bad position. I would like to see an alternate story where Tobirama's flying Raijin slice Madara while he's fighting Hashirama, and Izuna takes Madara's eyes for his own EMS. I don't know. I don't know if Izuna got the balls like that. Izuna might just be a bitch, to be honest. What's up, Zeiko? Another 199 euros from our boy Steven, the GOAT. What's up, man? To be fair, Kakuzu is a Kid Sasuke victim. That is true. Kid Sasuke might be slamming Kakuzu. We don't even need heavy Sasuke. It's like Kid Sasuke could probably do it. We're being totally honest. Then Izuna meets Sasuke as an Edo, and it's basically Sasuke looking at himself, since they look the same. Yeah, they do look similar. Madara was the only ninja in the world that can distinguish between Hashirama's wood clone and the original. His sensory probably tells him what Tobirama will do before he does it. Yeah, probably. Madara was kind of cracked in that regard. What do you think about Kabuto versus Itachi and Kabuto versus Nagato? Who would win? I don't know, because I feel like Kabuto kind of like hard counters a lot of Itachi's abilities, like obviously he can shut off his eyes. He does that in canon to avoid Genjutsu. His White Rage also counters the Susanoo because Itachi can't really maintain it very well whenever White Extreme Attack is being used. And like Itachi needed Sasuke's help to break out of Taiyu's flute, demonic chain fantasy or something like that. And like that's just like an instant win con for Kabuto. So like only other thing Itachi has is Amaterasu, and he can't control it or use it to the extent like Sasuke can, so I might be having Kabuto, but like I could see the argument for like Totsuka Blade GG type shit, but I don't know. Oh, as for Nagato, like the same goes for Nagato, kind of like Chibaku Tensei. Kabuto could just like liquefy out of it or manipulate the rocks with Muka Tensei inorganic animation. So that's like his best jutsu. It's just not effective at all on Kabuto, you know. Kakuzu was beating that bum heavy Sasuke. Kakuzu was a victim to base Sasuke, I'm not even gonna lie. Kakuzu's just getting victimized like really badly. Baby Sasuke is stronger than Itachi, stronger than Kakuzu? Maybe. Kid Kakashi claps Hidan low diff. Hidan might be beating Kakuzu, not even gonna lie. Hidan might be slamming Kakuzu. Catch you later, Zeiko. Tobirama Propaganda number 28474. Tobirama killed Madara's fodder brother so Madara can get buff. It would be a fair fight for the Uchihas. Yeah, he did it on purpose, bro. Like, the only reason Tobirama killed Izuna was specifically so Madara could get stronger, so Tobirama would have like a worthy opponent. Hey, what's up, Whisper? $5 for my boy Whisper. What's up, man? What do you feel about Itachi and EMS Sasuke versus Guy? Feels like a lot of people assume that any opponent Guy faces will let him open all the gates. It's like, is it the two of them? Like, both Itachi and EMS Sasuke versus Guy? Or just, like, I don't know, if Guy starts out in base, like, it's not in character for Guy to go, like, immediately to the 8th gate. Like, there's only 2 times he's ever considered using all 8 gates, The first was whenever he was facing off against 5 Bijus, fighting against like White Mask Obito and them, and then the second time was against like literal fucking Jubidara. So it's like normally in character he just doesn't rush immediately to the 8th gate. So like there would be a lot of chances for Genjutsu GG. If you're going Itachi route, maybe you could hit him with the Tosca Blade. Amaterasu is something Guy just doesn't have a counter for either. So it's possible. Like it depends. I don't know. It just depends. Like what gate does he go off to first? Like if he jumps straight to the 7th gate, like they might have like a really hard time putting him down. But if he's like 6 and under, I feel like they would be able to beat him before he can advance any higher. Don't tell Solus that Loco doesn't think Kabuto beats KCM Avatar Minato. Heavy Sasuke's beating Kakuzu. Facts, facts. Appreciate the 5 though, Whisper. If he killed Madara, they wouldn't be in this mess, but he folded like a fraud. Itachi and EMS Sasuke wipe Guy. What the fuck? Yeah, I think they would. I think they would. The two of them together. Yeah. It would take the 8th gate. I don't know. I feel like if he was facing them off 1v1, like, he'd probably need the 8th gate against EMS Sasuke. But I feel like he could just use the 7th gate on Itachi. Take a shot of vodka every time NC Hammer makes an assumption in this video. That's right, I need to get to this video. Hold on. Let's start. While I'm doing this, feel free to leave a like on the stream, por favor. So we can promote it to more people around YouTube. Alright. Let's not waste any time. Any more time. I've been sitting here for like 13 minutes already. Hold on, where is it? Where did I put that shit? Oh, there it is. I got it. Finally. And go. Just had it. Oh, there it is. Bet. Look at this handsome, strapping man right here. NC Hammer himself. Video is titled Itachi could not beat the Kinkaku force, but I've been informed that it's like anyone versus the Kin and Gen squad. So it's like anyone. It doesn't just have to be Itachi. So let's see what he thinks about this. I want to know what he thinks. Alask is a big Tobirama guy, and when he recommended this to me, he was like, yeah, this vid is just like a lot of assumptions and a lot of headcanon and stuff, but we'll see what's up with it. $2 from Whisper again. What's up, my man? What do you like the most about Sasuke? I don't know. Sasuke's always kind of been my favorite character. First it was Kakashi, then it was Sasuke. Like, Sasuke's just dope. I don't know. I think the fuck. I just think the lightning style, or the lightning release jutsu are so cool. I've always liked that stuff. And of course the Sharingan is dope as well, but like, he got a cool personality too, you know, but like he's just always doing some cool stuff. Like, it took Naruto like 400 chapters to get cool. Like, Naruto didn't start being cool until the Pain arc. Like, in my opinion, I didn't think Naruto was like that until the Pain arc. But yeah, Sasuke's just been like that since day one, you know. Another €2 from Steven. Appreciate that, my boy. Reread Akatsuki Suppression 10 times. 0 good feats. Bro said Kakuzu has 0 feats. He's read the entire arc 10 times and Kakuzu is just ass each and every time. That's crazy. Stop thirsting over NC's look, Loco. Your chat is zesty enough. What the heck? Lightning is cool as fuck? Yeah, it is, bro. I've always liked that shit. Like, cause when Kakashi busted out the Raikiri against Zabuza, I was like, oh, holy shit, he's gonna beat his ass. Sasuke is the best written character in Naruto. It's the best thing about him. That is true. Naruto was cool since Kid Naruto. He started getting iffy in Shippuden. Nah, he's been like, nah, bro. Hard to disagree with that one. Alright. Let's get into this. 34 minutes of NC Hammer, here I come. Let's do it!
There are many fights that occur in Naruto that we're told about but never see. And honestly, that's a shame, because the majority of these forbidden fights, as I call them, could have the potential to be the most impressive in the entire series. Examples of these forbidden fights are things like Sakamoto Hatsuki versus Granny Chiyo versus Hanzo the Salamander, or even Might Dai versus Seven Swordsmen of the Mist. But out of all of the legendary fights that Naruto fans yearn to see but never got the chance to, there's one that reigns supreme, and that fight is Tobirama versus the Kinkaku Force. See, this fight saw the second Hokage pitted against Kinkaku, Ginkaku, and 20 high-level Jonin. That's one of the most powerful ninja of all time versus two literal descendants of Hagoromo and an entire squadron of 20 additional Jonin heaped onto that mess. And Tobirama found himself in this 1v20 because he was covering the retreat of his expedition force into the Hidden Clouds territory. That is to say that he was protecting the lives of Kagami Uchiha, Danzo, Hiruzen, Koharu, and Hamura. And 4 out of those 5 people later became village elders and massively important to the growth of Konoha as a whole. And yet, all we know about this battle is who fought in it and who won. And we may not even know that much. See, us not knowing anything about this fight is a massive shame. Probably the biggest in all of Naruto, because this fight included 3 genuine A-listers in strength, whose abilities were so massively different from each other that if they clashed together, the possibilities for how the battle could pan out are nearly limitless, because Tobirama is
I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting him to like kind of downplay Kin and Gin and say they weren't that strong, but it sounds like he's actually hyping them up, so like I'm actually kind of surprised. Like shit. It sounds like this is getting off to a good start so far. What's up, Eternal Flame? How you doing, my man?
after all,
Could I turn the music down like the NC Hammer video or what?
probably the smartest shinobi to ever be born, and a tactical genius. To see how he would approach a battle against a substantially stronger force would have been a fantastic look into not only him as a character, but also to see how he fought. And yet all we know about this battle is that Tobirama dies as a result of it. And while we do know that Tobirama dies in this battle, we don't know if anybody else dies in this battle, as this battle could have also been the line for either Kinkaku or Ginkaku, or both of them. All we know is that by this time in the story, Kinkaku and Ginkaku were considered outcasts, because when Tobirama had previously come to the Hidden Cloud to broker peace to end the First Great Shinobi World War, Kinkaku and Ginkaku attacked him, almost killing Tobirama. And since this was seen as a traitorous action by the Hidden Cloud, as Tobirama and the second Raikage were agreeing on peace terms in order to end the bloodiest conflict the ninja world had ever seen at this point, Kinkaku and Ginkaku were exiled from the village, at least temporarily. However, because obviously peace talks broke down with the Hokage almost dying in the Hidden Cloud village, a couple of months later, Tobirama was doing a reconnaissance mission in the Hidden Cloud's territory that backfired. And once again, Tobirama ran in.
I don't know if it's ever stated that he was doing a reconnaissance mission or even that it was in the Hidden Cloud territory. This doesn't affect like the power scaling whatsoever. Damn, I want some chips, bro. After this, I might just go get some chips, bro. I don't know why. I want those Takis Turbo Flamas. You know what I'm talking about? The little spiral ones. For some reason, I don't know. Like I didn't want them until like right now, until I mentioned it. Just like out of nowhere, I just started thinking of Turbo's Flamas. I might get like an Arizona with it too. Okay. Dang, I'm starting to get hungry. I just ate. I'm still hungry. What the fuck? Y'all ever had those chips though? Like off topic. But anyways, this doesn't affect like the power scaling thing whatsoever, but I'm pretty sure it's never stated that it was like a reconnaissance mission on Tobirama's part. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. That's just like a knowledge cliff on the trivia of the series though. This doesn't really matter.
Into the Nightmare Duo. However, this time, they wouldn't just almost kill him. Now, we can possibly infer the fact that Kinkaku and Ginkaku survived this battle against Tobirama.
Alice said there's no evidence that Gin was already dead when the Kinkaku unit was formed. Okay.
And even went so far as to bring his body back to the Hidden Cloud. Because when Kinkaku and Ginkaku are revived in the Fourth Great Shinobi World War, shinobi from the Hidden Cloud, like Darui, Samui, and Atsui, treat them with reverence, calling them folk heroes whose stories they were told when they were young. And if Kinkaku and Ginkaku died as outcasts in a battle against Tobirama, I don't think they would be treated as folk heroes, though it's a possibility that trading their lives for the death of a Hokage could loft them up in their own village as martyrs. But it's probably safest to assume that they gained this folk hero status by killing the second Hokage and returning to the village as heroes, which means that Tobirama, supposedly one of the strongest men in history, wasn't able to complete the monstrous task of killing Kinkaku, Ginkaku, and 20 high-level Jonin simultaneously by himself. But if Tobirama, truly one of the strongest individuals in Naruto's history, wasn't up to this monstrous task, is there anybody out there who would be? Well, today, we're gonna try and answer that question, because today we're talking who from Naruto could defeat the Kinkaku force. But before we get to talking about hypothetical Naruto battles, guys, please, for me, real on everything anime and sticker pack, both Tobirama's skills and what.
See, I know. I've watched so many NC Hammer videos that I know exactly how long it takes for him to finish plugging his stuff. And bro, at this point, I've memorized like all of his lines. Please, for me, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell. And then he says that like he changes it up often. Then he says something about the podcast with the other dude, and then he's like, and if you want to cop the best sticker packs and sweatshirts known to man, go check out my merch store, bro. Like I've already memorized all of his lines. It's so cool. Like I have NC Hammer burned to the back of my head.
Why they didn't help him win this battle. That is to say that we need to identify the weaknesses of the Kinkaku force and find shinobi whose strengths align with those weaknesses. See, because Tobirama, like we've already established, was one of the strongest shinobi of all time. An unparalleled genius. I have not a singular ounce of hesitancy in me when I say that Tobirama is not only the greatest Hokage of all time, but also probably the smartest shinobi of all time. Tobirama created not one, not two, but three of the most dangerous and highly powerful jutsu known to the shinobi world. All before he even became Hokage, just so he could become Hokage and outlaw 2 out of those 3 jutsus. And honestly, that was fair because Tobirama created those jutsus in an era of war so bloody that it was necessary to bend the rules of moral ninja warfare. And those jutsus that Tobirama created were 1, Edo Tensei, which is now considered a forbidden jutsu because it 1, violates the rules of natural order, that is to say it can bring the dead back to life, and 2, requires the death of somebody else to operate, as you need a dead body to attach the soul to. The second jutsu he created was the Shadow Clone Jutsu, which is considered a forbidden jutsu within the confines of a multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu because it puts the user at risk of running out of chakra, because every Shadow Clone you create has an equal share of how much chakra you have total. And thus, while using 3 to 4 Shadow Clones is fine, when you get into the regions of 100 Shadow Clones, you only leave yourself with 1% of your chakra. And since running out of chakra equals death, multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu is a forbidden jutsu because it puts the user at risk. And the third jutsu that Tobirama ever created was the Flying Raijin Jutsu, which isn't forbidden, but it's almost impossible to learn to average shinobi, and therefore forbidding it in the first place isn't all that necessary, as there's only 3 people that have ever been able to use Flying Raijin by themselves. Those people being Tobirama Minato and Boruto. Now, outside of these jutsus and their derived jutsus, Tobirama was also probably the second greatest water release user of all time, as his water dragon bullet technique and general water release abilities are only seemingly surpassed by Kisame. But Tobirama wasn't limited to water release. In fact, Tobirama is able to use all 5 elements.
I don't know, like Kisame's water release jutsu are like bigger in terms of like scale, because like obviously he can like create the big ass water dome bubble thing. But like in terms of like attack potency, like Tobirama's water release should still hit harder. So it just depends on which angle you're looking at. Like Kisame can output more water because like presumably he has a higher chakra reserve than Tobirama, since he's consistently called like a tailless tail beast. That's what he's called. So Tobirama has a lot of chakra in his own right, but like Kisame can make the bigger jutsu while Tobirama's hit harder. So it just depends on what aspect you're looking at.
Elemental releases and yin and yang, which means Tobirama was a master of all 7 releases, something that less than 10 people in the entirety of the Naruto
Bro, Donovan in chat, he said Tobirama is a one-eye Madara victim, but to be fair, like 99% of the series is a one-eye Madara victim. Like KCM2 Naruto, EMS Sasuke, Minato as well, he would get pieced up. Who else? Hashirama might be losing as well. Like even like Sage Hashirama, like what is he doing to Limbo? Like realistically, like Madara was already in the top like 1% of the strongest characters in the show. Like even if he only had one eye, I'd say he's still stronger than he was in the Valley of the End, to be honest. Another 2 euros from Steven. What's up, bro? He said, I gotta get going. Gamma made Minato Hokage. To be honest, that's true. Like, without Gamabunta, Minato would have never been made the Hokage. Like, all of Minato's power comes straight from Gamabunta, and there's no denying that. Like, he would be a fraud without Gamabunta, but I appreciate the 2 euros, my man. Have a good night.
Universe can claim. So if his bag is so infinitely deep, how did he lose? Well, what it really boils down to is lack of AP and lack of Fuin Jutsu. See, well, Tobirama's kit
lack of AP.
Incredibly deep. Both Kenkaku and
what are you
Kinkaku,
talking
as
about?
a last line of defense, are able to activate a version 2 Jinchuriki cloak. That
Yo, the boy Drip Lord Entertainment himself is here. What's good, my man?
they're in control of. And if we remember anything about Jinchuriki cloaks, especially the version 2 varietal, they cover your body with boiling hot, insanely dense chakra that is almost impenetrable. I say almost impenetrable because obviously things like Sasuke's Chidori would be able to cut through it. 99.999% of things in the Naruto universe cannot cut through a version 2 Jinchuriki cloak. Even Orochimaru's Kusanagi blade, which is said to be able to slice through everything was not only stopped by Naruto's version 2 Jinchuriki cloak in its 4-tail mode, mind you, but also the density of the chakra was so great that Naruto was able to grab the Kusanagi blade. And for those of you who don't
I'll give you that. Like the version 2 Bijou are like very, very durable. I'll give you that. They're like, they have high piercing resistance. Bro, Driplord with the 5 bucks. Didn't you just hop in chat, bro? Like this man has the deepest pockets, man. He just hopped in chat and he's already like blessing up. Bro, he's insane, bro. Like bro just got straight down to well, I appreciate that. We talking about everyone versus the Kinkaku Force. Like, who could beat the Kinkaku and Genkaku, basically. So, yeah. NC Hammer's been doing alright so far. I don't really have any major contentions.
remember just how incredibly powerful Orochimaru's Kusanagi blade is. Orochimaru's Kusanagi blade was able to damage Monkey King Enma while he was in his adamantite staff form, and adamantite is the strongest material in the Naruto universe. And while the Kusanagi blade wasn't necessarily slicing the staff in half, in fact the staff was able to reflect the Kusanagi blade, Monkey King Enma fully admitted that if he took too many hits from the Kusanagi blade, he would be covered in bruises all over. On top of this, from an offensive perspective, version 2 Jinchuriki cloaks are able to manifest and fire tailed beast bombs. Tailed beast bombs so strong that people like Orochimaru have to summon the triple Rashomon gates, which is the strongest defensive move that one person can pull off, just to stop the explosion from hitting them. And even then, the triple Rashomon gates may not be enough. So when it really comes down to it, when dealing with somebody or two somebodies with version 2 Jinchuriki cloaks, you need to either A, have the firepower to overcome their defenses, like Kisame, who with the help of Samehada would be able to strip off the version 2 Jinchuriki cloak, and who also had the power to bang with a 7th gate guy. B, divert their attention away from you, like Deidara did with his C2 bomb over the hidden sand village, and then attack them when they're vulnerable. C, have Amaterasu.
But Deidara, whenever Gaara fought Deidara, I'm pretty sure he wasn't using any of Shikaku's power. It's just like straight up base Gaara.
Or Tsukiyomi that can allow you to either cover them in black flames or cast them into a genjutsu so lifelike that you become the god of their universe, or D, have advantageous or incredibly strong Fuinjutsu, like Wood Release, which would be advantageous in a battle against somebody with Tailed Beast Chakra, or Grand Sand Mausoleum, which is just incredibly powerful. And when it comes down to it, while Tobirama had things like mutually multiplying explosive tags in his bag, which would be able to wipe out entire squadrons of regular Jonin, explosions, no matter how many of them there are, aren't enough to punch through a version 2 Jinchuriki cloak. And even though
Whoa. Okay. He just said the tandem paper bombs wouldn't be strong enough to kill Ken and Gin. I don't know about that, sweetheart. I don't know about that, bro. The tandem paper bombs aren't strong enough to kill Ken and Gin when they're comparable to like a 10 Tails fucking Bijou bomb. And if you need a reminder, like the 10 Tails Bijou bomb was like ripping off parts of Naruto's and Yuki's what is it? The KCM2 Naruto avatar. Hold on. Let me find the scan. I went way too far. Here it is. So, like, they were able to, like, deflect the blast, but, like, Naruto and Yuki were still getting, like, pieced up. Like, the parts of the tails that got hit by, like, a version 1 Juby's Bijou bomb were, like disintegrated. Like, look, you see that they take part of their tails off, and then a few panels later you see that Yuki is missing tails, and so is Kurama, because they got hit by this big ass Bijou bomb from the 10 Tails. So if Tobirama scales anywhere near that, it should scale above it actually, then he should be able to fuck up Kin and Gin, who are like pseudo Jinchuriki, not even the real deal.
Tobirama probably had everybody in the Kinkaku Force beaten speed with his flying Raijin Jutsu. Unfortunately, all the speed in the world doesn't help you if you can't break.
Is that the Sage of 6 Bands Driplord? Yep. In the flesh. What's up, Hella? How you doing, man?
Through the defenses of the most powerful people on the Force. Not to mention, Kinkaku and Ginkaku wield 4 out of the 5 treasured tools of the Sage of 6 Paths, 3 of which, when used in unison, are disgustingly broken. As the Benishago, the Kokinjo, and the Shichi Saiken, when all used together, allow the users to steal the word soul of whoever they're battling against, with little to no effort, mind you. Outside, of course, the massive chakra drain that comes along with using these tools, but that's not really an issue to Kinkaku or Ginkaku. And once they're able to steal the word soul of their opponent is no longer able to say the word that they say more than any other word on Earth. And not only can they not say the word they say most commonly, they can't say any words that contain the word they say most commonly. And they also can't stop talking. So technically, if your word soul is stolen, mine would probably be for all intents and purposes. For all, because I say for and all outside of intents and purposes more often. Let's just say hypothetically my word is four. I wouldn't be able to say four or
what is he talking about?
Four as in the number. And while there is technically a pretty easy and hard counter to having your word soul stolen, which is just saying a word you don't say all that often, like ant over and over and over again, coming to that realization mid-combat against two of Hagoromo's literal descendants who have version 2 Jinchuriki cloaks requires a certain amount of intelligence. So one slip up and you're sealed forever. On top of this, they have the Basho-sen, which essentially allows them to create Kage-level elemental release through the flick of a wrist. And while it requires an insane amount of chakra to generate this elemental release, Kinkaku and Ginkaku have a level of chakra comparable to that of Naruto. So endless. So in order to defeat Kinkaku and Ginkaku, you need to A, be aware of the fact that they have the ability to steal your word soul, B, be mobile enough to not have your word soul stolen, C, be smart enough to deduce mid-combat that if you have had your word soul taken, that you need to talk in a way that doesn't use that word for the rest of this battle, D, be strong enough or practice enough in Fuinjutsu that you're either able to punch through a version 2 Jinchuriki cloak or seal Tailed Beast chakra, and finally, E, have enough stamina to outlast two individuals with some of the largest chakra pools in the entirety of the Naruto universe, simultaneously, all while fighting 20 other highly skilled Jonin. And while we're on the point of the Jonin, one of my biggest pet peeves in the Naruto community is people calling these 20 Jonin S-class ninja. This is one of the most highly accepted and highly talked about points of misinformation in the entirety of the Naruto community.
Oh, really?
Never, not once, in any canon piece of source material, is it ever stated that the 20 Jonin that are with Kinkaku and Ginkaku are S-class ninjas. That's right, it's not in the anime, it's not in the manga, and it's most definitely not in the data books. What is stated, specifically by Tobirama, who's an insane level sensor ninja, is that they're surrounded by 20 shinobi, who based off their tracking abilities are not only from the Hidden Cloud, but are also highly skilled. Not a singular time does he refer to any of these shinobi as S-class.
Yeah, that is true. So the S-class thing is never stated, but you can make it likely, because a high level Jonin would be like a high level Jonin of the Cloud Village. Like, let me rephrase that. The Cloud Village and the Leaf Village have always been rivals in terms of military power. The Raikage heavily implies this whenever he says to Tsunade, he's like, no wonder we had such a tough time defeating Konoha because you have such skilled shinobi on your side, right? This was after they had already teamed up, you know? So the people in... I just realized that I caught him on a really bad frame. I don't know why he looks like that. But, yeah, so the Jonin and the shinobi, the caliber of shinobi from the Cloud Village should be similar to that of Konoha, since they were able to effectively stalemate each other for like years in each and every major war that they participated in. So a high-level Jonin from the Cloud Village should be the same as a high-level Jonin from the Leaf Village, which would be someone like Kakashi, who is stated to be one of the, if not the strongest Jonin in the Leaf Village, or you have Guy, who's close to Kakashi's level. And both of these guys have fought against Akatsuki members who, in their own right, are S-ranked shinobi, right? So, like, that's where the whole S-rank thing comes from. That's how you get it from high-level or highly skilled shinobi. That's why people have been saying that. It's not necessarily stated, but it's more likely that they are of this A to S rank caliber, possibly Akatsuki level, or low Akatsuki level, low to mid Akatsuki level is what I'm trying to say. The frame matches what he's about to claim. S-class is like Hidan, all Akatsuki members are S-class. Yeah, that's true. So, like, S-class is a very wide category, but it's still, like, impressive, you know? Because even Hidan has, like, supposed statements where he's supposed to be able to take down a Bijou, according to Pain, and even Kakuzu says that he doesn't have the ability, or he doesn't have anything in his arsenal really that can hurt Hidan or kill him. Kakuzu just says straight up, like, my partner just cannot die, or like nothing that I throw at my partner will kill him, and we see that this is the case, and we know that Kakuzu uses those same attacks to take down Bijou, so Hidan is still strong in his own right. If it was like 20 Hidans, that would still be like somewhat of a big deal, right? But you know, that's just where the S class or S rank meta comes from.
And for those of you who don't know what an S-class shinobi is, it's a term used in the bingo book to say how strong and therefore how valuable a certain criminal is. And the only ever confirmed S-class shinobi in the bingo book are all members or former members of the Akatsuki. So everybody, when talking about this battle, usually says that Tobirama battled against Kinkaku, Ginkaku, and 20 Akatsuki-level Jonin. And that just simply isn't the truth. While that's a really cool narrative, it's just not the truth. Because think about it for like 1 second. If the Cloud had Kinkaku, Ginkaku, and 20 Akatsuki-level ninja, there wouldn't be a Konoha. 9 Akatsuki-level threats almost took over the world. 1 Akatsuki-level threat leveled Konoha. You genuinely believe that on top of the descendants of Hagoromo, who are pseudo-Kurama Jinchuriki, that the Hidden Cloud also had 20 Akatsuki-level ninja. And they weren't in charge? Not to mention...
I mean, Pain is strong, is one of the stronger members. I would say Pain hits the hardest out of any member of the Akatsuki. So saying that just because one Akatsuki level shinobi leveled Konoha, that isn't really relevant. So what the hell? Anyways, yeah, so it's like I would interpret it as like low to mid, because he is making sense when he says this. Like, Akatsuki level is impressive, but at this point there was like a higher caliber of shinobi that you had back then. There was like Hiruzen, who was approaching his prime, Danzo, who was somewhat implied to be relative to Hiruzen at that point. You have you have the entire Uchiha clan as well, because they were still alive at that point in time. One of the members of Tobirama's squad is like a direct ancestor of Shisui. So it's like you have these pretty strong shinobi that are present. Of course, you have Tobirama as well, the GOAT. But like, you know, they don't have to be like scaling to Pain or whatever, because he clearly is like hitting the hardest, quote unquote, strongest out of the Akatsuki.
And the fact that all of the Jonin that were tagging along with Kinkaku and Ginkaku were also exiled from the Hidden Cloud. And that force alone, if it was 20 Akatsuki level ninjas, would be stronger than all the other ninja villages combined. The 7 swordsmen of the Mist are said to be strong enough to take on entire countries by themselves. 2.5 of them are Akatsuki level threats. No.
Okay. Hold on there. Kisame was never part of the 7 ninja swordsmen. He just wields one of the 7 swords. He was never a formal part of that group. And also, when they're called a country level threat, that doesn't have to mean jack. Like, Sasori took down a country with his performance of 100 puppets, but we don't know what kind of country he took out. Obviously, it wasn't the major nations. In the anime filler, it's shown that like the country that Sasori takes down is kind of just like a small town. So, or it's like a fortress or a castle. It's not even like really a country, if I remember correctly. So a country in Naruto is basically meaningless as long as it's not one of the 5 great nations. It means jack shit. And the 7 ninja swordsmen are also, I wouldn't call them ass, but they're like still somewhat threatening in comparison to like normal Jonin. That's all I'm gonna say, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. Hey yo, $5 from Josh Farrow. What's up, my man? When'd you get here? Hey man, hope your night is going well. Tobirama make Konoha great again? Definitely, bro. Bro, someone in the Discord, send me that meme. Send me that meme of Tobirama with the fucking MAGA hat on. I want to see that shit again. But yeah, Tobirama definitely he put up the wall to keep those Uchigas out, you know?
These other Jonin were not S-class ninjas. They were high-level Jonin, so think Kurenai or Asuma, which is still an insanely tough team to go up against by yourself. So genuinely, who could do it? Well, I know some of you might be tempted to lead with an answer like Darui, and while this might be true of Raikage Darui, Kinkaku and Ginkaku's defeat in the 4th Great Shinobi World's War is inherently kind of BS. 1, Darui straight up loses and then is just saved by the plot because he has to become the 5th Raikage. Because as Darui...
Yo, I've been saying this for the longest time. NC is cooking.
Darui is being absorbed into the Benishago. He says sorry to the 4th Raikage for his ignorance.
Kurenai claimed Kisame was a 7 ninja swordsman. She's just kind of like... What does Kurenai know, though? Like, realistically, what does she know? Like, if she doesn't know jack shit, basically. Kisame was never part of the 7 ninja swordsmen. He actually murdered the former wielder of Samehada, and that's when Obito recruited him to be a part of the Akatsuki. So Kisame was never an actual member of the Seven Ninja Swordsmen. He just wields one of the blades of the Seven Ninja Swordsmen. So like Kisame wouldn't necessarily count as part of that. He's obviously stronger than any of the other members based off what we've seen. Like Kakashi and other members of the, I believe it was the second division, were able to take on like the entire Seven Ninja Swordsmen plus Haku. So it's like, yeah, it's like if they were all Kisame level, that shit wouldn't be happening. I'll tell you that right now. Bro in chat, he said, damn those Uchigers. Yeah, you gotta chill, bro. You gotta chill, bro. What's up, Ray? How you doing?
Unfortunately, because Drat and Sorry were one away from each other in terms of how many times he said it over an entire lifetime, as he's being absorbed, his word-soul word switches, and thus, he's not absorbed. But Ginkaku...
Yeah, that was some bullshit. Like how Darui escaped Kin and Gin's ceiling, it was some bullshit. Like he like NC Hammer is kind of spitting here. I'm not even gonna lie.
Believes he is, which allows Ginkaku to get surprise feeded by Darui, who then steals the Shichisaiken and the Benishago from him, which he then summarily uses to seal Ginkaku. Mind you, Darui, prior to being on his own, was also being helped by Samui and Atsui. And then after Ginkaku is absorbed into the Benishago, Ginkaku goes kind of crazy and activates his version 2 Jinchuriki Cloak, at which point he gets help from a large swath of the 4th Division and Team 10. And they have the Kohaku no Johei, which is the most broken tool in all of Naruto, period. Because all the
Yeah, this shit. The amber purification jar, that's the other word for it. It's literally an ass pull because we don't ever hear about this thing again. Or we didn't hear about it before the Kin fight, and it serves no purpose after the Kin fight. So like literally the Raikage is shitting his pants and he's like, how the fuck are we gonna take care of Kinkaku? He just transformed into his version 2 state. And then he's like, oh shit, I have this magical fucking jar that allows me to seal anybody I want. And conveniently, his assistant has a jutsu that can teleport this jar instantly to the battlefield. Like, bro, like you're not gonna tell me that this wasn't an ass pull. Like they needed this shit to be able to take down Kinkaku. I agree with what NC Hammer is saying right here. Like I've been saying this for months now.
Kohaku no Johei, which is the most broken tool in all of Naruto, period. Because all the Kohaku no Johei requires for somebody to be sealed by it is for the user to ask that person a question and for the person that they want to seal to acknowledge that question. Literally, all they have to go is go, Kinkaku, question mark, and if Kinkaku goes, yes, sealed. This fight for Kinkaku and Genkaku, in my mind at least, is not scalable. At least in any accurate sense of the word. And thus...
Bro, NC Hammer is cooking right now. Like, he's actually, like... Holy shit, he's actually right. I can't believe it. This is a historic moment, right? Like that fight for them, Kin and Gin, is absolutely not scalable. It's full of ass pulls. Like Darui somehow escaping the sealing jutsu, then the Raikage sending the amber purification jar to the battlefield. All of that is a bunch of bullshit. Like and people still say that like Kin and Gin are weaker than Darui. That's just like blatantly wrong. It's trash, bro.
Subjectively, if you want to talk about how powerful the Kinkaku force was when it battled against Tobirama, I think you just genuinely have to take the abilities of Kinkaku, Genkaku, and 20 high-level Jonin into account. So with that in mind, let's get the obvious answers out of the way. Sasuke, Sakura, Naruto, DMS Kakashi, every Otsutsuki ever, Hagoromo, Hashirama, Obito, Nagato, and Madara all win. And yes, adult Sakura could win against the Kinkaku force. She has literally already won a...
I don't know if Obito's winning. Like, Orange Mask Obito might be getting folded by Kin and Gin. I'm not even gonna lie. Hey yo, another 5 from Driplord Entertainment. What's up, my man? Heavy Sasuke, if put in Tobirama shoes, would have gotten the job done. I'm not even gonna lie. Heavy Sasuke would be beating Kin again. That is a fact. Like what are they doing against Genjutsu GG? Like realistically, what are they doing? Like he already has like crazy speed scaling. He might be as fast as them, if not faster than them, and they have no counter to Genjutsu. Like, come on now. Like, what are they doing? And bro said, my bands are on that Apex cooldown now. You gotta hit that what is it called? Ultimate Accelerant, my boy. Nah, I'm playing, but I appreciate the 5 though. Yeah, Heavy Sasuke slams though.
Fight in her light novel Sakura Hiden, which takes place just a couple of years after the conclusion of the 4th Great Shinobi World War. So it's not even adult Sakura. And in this light novel, Sakura takes on multiple Anbu members who have version 1 Kurama cloaks. And while they're not descendants of Hagoromo, and while they're not using version 2 Jinchuriki cloaks, Sakura is faster than anybody in the Kinkaku force, as she is the only person outside of DMS Kakashi who actually landed a hit on Kaguya. Not to mention she also, through the power of her Strength of 100 seal, has comparable chakra reserves to both Kinkaku and Ginkaku. She has Lady Katsuyo and mitotic regeneration as an almost almost infinite healing source, and the strength of 100 seal allowed for Tsunade, who is weaker than adult Sakura, mind you, because when I say we did not get primed Tsunade in the 4th Great Shinobi World War, and yet she was still able, through the strength of 100 seal, to crack Madara's Susanoo ribcage with a kick, something that a KCM-1 Big Ball Rasengan from Naruto could not accomplish. Thus, Sakura, who is more powerful than that version of Tsunade, should be able to punch straight through a Susanoo ribcage, and if she can punch through a Susanoo ribcage, especially one used by Madara, she can injure somebody who's hiding behind a level 2 Jinchuriki cloak. Not to mention her chakra control is literally so
Josh Farrell with the $2. He said the amber sealing jar is OP and it would solo the Bleach verse. I'm not even gonna lie, you're cooking, bro. Like, what is Ichigo doing to the amber purification jar? Like, realistically, like Ichigo just might be getting slammed. Like what is he doing though? Like, can someone give me like any counter Ichigo got to that shit? Like, he got nothing. Like, honestly, like Ichigo it's just over for him once he sees that jar.
Precise, she can cut ninjutsu in half, so there's a fair chance she could just literally slice through a Jinchuriki cloak. And that isn't even the entirety of her kit, by like a long shot. So whether you like it or not, Sakura clears the Kinkaku force, and probably Tobirama. On top of that, pretty much every single version of Obito clears this fight, as he has half a white Zetsu body, which gives him Hashirama's healing factor, chakra reserves, and wood release in a rudimentary sense. On top of this, he at least at one point had a Sharingan that had a Genjutsu ability comparable to Kodo Matsukame that he used on Yagura to control him to be a maniacal, bloodthirsty monster as a leader to the Hidden Mist for years.
I don't know about that, big dog. I don't know about Obito having Kodo Matsukami level Genjutsu. I feel like NC Hammer debunked this one time. I thought he didn't believe this. I could have sworn NC Hammer wasn't on this Obito is like Shisui level Genjutsu train. I don't know. I could have sworn he said he didn't believe in that. Maybe I'm tweaking though. Loco, I think it's time we get some Sakura scaling from you. Adult Sakura, my body, half a shit, but in top tiers too. I don't know, bro. Maybe I should... Like, hold on. Well, I was about to say that I should make Sakura versus the Akatsuki, but my buddy, my homeboy, my girlfriend, Lightning Snow, has already made a video on this topic. It's his most recent video, actually. He just put it out a few days ago, so hopefully you guys go check it out, because I'm sure... I watched like the first half of it. I'm sure he does like Sakura justice. He scaled her pretty fairly, so if you want more Sakura hype, go check him out in the meantime, and then I'll get around to it eventually.
And Kamui is a sure hit kill on anybody who doesn't have space-time ninjutsu, so long as you can grab them, bring them to the Kamui dimension, and then dip out, which we know that Obito can do. He's Kamui'd other people multiple times. And since both Kinkaku and Ginkaku don't have space-time ninjutsu, this is a legitimate option against them. Not to mention there's no guarantee that the Kokinjo would even be able to grab his word soul, as there's a possibility that the Kokinjo would just phase through him as he phased that part of his body away. We're not entirely sure as to whether or not the Kamui moves your soul. And this is just talking about Orange Mask Obito. If you go so far as to involve White Mask Obito into the equation, all the sealing and absorption abilities of the Rinnegan, plus the possibility of 6 paths of pain, make this just an even easier fight for Obito. So while I don't genuinely believe that Rage Child Obito or even Yellow Mask Obito wins this battle, I believe that any iteration of Orange Mask Obito or Tobi, White Mask Obito, and Jubito clear it pretty easily. And if White Mask Obito clears the challenge because of his one Rinnegan, then Nagato...
I don't know, I could argue Ken and Gin beat Orange Mask Obito. Like, if I feel like extra trolly, I bet I could do it.
Clears the challenge because of his 2, even though having additional Rinnegan actually doesn't confer much of an advantage. But the 6 paths of pain with their summonings, chakra absorption...
Bro said I'm cheating on Sage. Nah, me, Lightning, and Sage have like regular threesomes.
Abilities and King of Hell pretty easily clear Kinkaku and Ginkaku. I mean, Nagato went toe-to-toe with the entirety of Konoha. I like his chances here. And if non-White Mask Obito's chances are bolstered by the fact that he has Hashirama's cells, and therefore Hashirama's healing factor chakra and a rudimentary version of his wood release, then it's only reasonable to assume that the guy he stole all that from would stand a fairly good chance in this battle. I mean, Hashirama was able to defeat Kurama, not small slivers of Kurama's chakra being used.
I don't know, man. Hashirama might be losing to Kinkaku. Like, we've already seen that Hashirama's brother lost to them, so I don't see why Hashirama himself would win, like, to be honest. Like, cause like, realistically, like, his Tobirama, Hashirama's brother, already lost. So, like, what is Hashirama doing? Like, what hope does he have? Like, his brother already lost. Like, I don't see how he's winning.
By guys who gnawed on Kurama's stomach lining. Kurama, who was wearing a Susanoo, being controlled by the antagonist of the story. See, because the difference in Hashirama and Tobirama's strength is greater than a lot of people realize. Well, obviously Hashirama and Tobirama were incredibly talented Senju ninja. Hashirama was the reincarnation of Ashura, and therefore was able to tap into a lot of his powers. And while I assume that if Hashirama wasn't the reincarnation of Asura, that he probably would have ended up being roughly as strong as Tobirama, being the reincarnation of God makes you at least 3 to 5 times stronger. And the gap in that power only...
3 to 5 times stronger? I love NC Hammer, bro. Like I love him to death, bro. He just makes some arbitrary ass fucking scaling. Where did 3 to 5 times come from? Like you could just say Hashirama is stronger than Tobirama. You don't have to try to quantify it because it's just like a baseless assertion. Bro, NC Hammer is so funny, bro.
Gets larger when we're talking about them battling against somebody with tailed beast chakra, which would release naturally suppresses. I mean, a heavily non-prime Hashirama in the 4th Great Shinobi World War held down the 10 tails. He eats Kinkaku and Ginkaku for breakfast. But enough about the
I don't know, bro. Kinkaku and Ginkaku might be slamming the 10 tails as well. Like if well, actually, no, I can't even make that argument because Ken and Gin were like part of the 10 tails because Obito fed the amber purification jar to the Ghetto Mazo. So like Hashirama technically already slammed Ken and Gin by extension. Oh my god. Somebody needs to clip that shit? Please don't, bro. We gotta talk about it. Hashirama is overrated. KCM2 mastered KCM2 Naruto beats him mid difficulty. I said what I said. I don't know, just because the fact that Hashirama can, like, suppress the QB chakra is, like, a big deal for me. Loco, why is my chat sus? Also, Loco, me, Sage, and Snow have regular threesomes. NC Hammer just be pulling numbers out of the void, facts. Oh my god. My dad is 2 to 3 times stronger than your dad? Baseless assumption, unfortunately. What do you think of the old people who followed Danzo Shimura? I think they're the most evil people in all of Naruto. Honestly, bro, if you catch them in Boruto, like in the Naruto Next Generation's Boruto, I bet they'd be saying some crazy racist shit. Like they were around during Danzo's time, in Tobirama's time as well, I believe. Where they were around during Tobirama's time, where like racism against the Uchiha was accepted. So like honestly, those boomers, they're probably dropping like the hard R every now and then. They're saying like they're like casually dropping the word Uchiga, like in Boruto, like out of nowhere. He's like, remember back in the day, head ass, bro. He was like, I don't know, bro. Those two old ass elders. All I'm saying is that they're probably racist. That's all I'm saying.
Surefire answers, let's talk about some less sure answers. And in that categorization, I have Might Guy, Minato, Itachi, Prime Hiruzen, Kisame, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru. See, I believe that Might Guy has the firepower.
Did he say Jiraiya is beating them? Did he say well, I don't know, like the Minato losing to Ken again is kind of like a troll shit, but Jiraiya would unironically lose. Like Jiraiya is he's like getting his cheeks clapped. Like I'm not even gonna lie. Let me listen to what he said one more time.
But enough about the surefire answers. Let's talk about some less sure answers. And in that categorization, I have Might Guy, Minato, Itachi, Prime Hiruzen, Kisame, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru. See, I believe that Might Guy has the firepower to either take on Kinkaku or Ginkaku, even without opening up to the 8th gate. See, Might Guy has proven, standing side by side with Rock Lee, that by simply opening up to the 6th gate, that the two of them are able to absolutely run the fade of a version 2 four-tailed version of Naruto's Jin Cloak. And while this is
holy shit, so that is fake as fuck. That shit is not canon, bro. I know he's about to admit that it's not. Hold on, I want to hear him say that this isn't canon. Come on, NC, I want to hear you say it. I want to hear you concede that this isn't canon.
Absolutely run the fade of a version 2 four-tailed version of Naruto's Jin Cloak. And while this isn't technically canon, it's genuinely.
Then don't bring it up, my boy. Then don't bring it up, my boy. You just threw your own evidence out the window. You don't even have to bring that up. You could just say that like 7th gate guy is like. You could just bring up 7th gate guy's feats and say that he'd be able to beat up Ken and Gin, and I'd be fine with that. I don't think he needs the 8th gate to beat him, but like I don't know, bringing up the canon stuff or like the non-canon stuff. That's just not a good look.
The only reference point I have for Might Guy battling against a tailed beast that isn't Jubidara, and thus by assuming that Might Guy, by opening up to the 7th gate, would be able to defeat a singular user of a version 2 Jinchuriki cloak, I feel like isn't crazy. Now, Might Guy did have to open up to the 6th gate to defeat a 30% Kisame, but it's important to note that when you say a 30% Kisame, we're not saying Kisame at 30% strength. We're saying Kisame at 100% strength with 30% of his chakra.
Yeah, that's blatantly false. That is blatantly false. So he's saying that the Kisame that Guy faced off against, and the same goes for Itachi when they faced off against the 30% clone of Itachi. It's just like directly stated that they're weaker. Hold on. Where is it? You're done too. Yeah, I'm out of chakra, but that was enough to delay them. We did give those sacrifices 30% of our chakra. It is a useful jutsu, but the substitutes the substitutes, because we don't allot them much chakra, they are limited in the strength and jutsu that they use. Like, it took me about all of 45 seconds to find this panel. It's in chapter 260. You can check it for yourself. It just blatantly stated that these 30% clones are weaker. It's not that they have 30% chakra, they're just blatantly weaker than the originals.
And Might Guy did have to open up to the 7th gate to defeat Kisame without Samehada. But the 8th gate does make Might Guy 100 times stronger, and did make him strong enough, or heavy enough, to bend space-time. So I have no doubt that the 7th gate would be enough to clean up 20 high-level Jonin, and possibly either Kinkaku or Ginkaku. I do believe that in order to truly defeat the two of them simultaneously, all while avoiding the usage of their treasured tools, Might Guy would need to use the 8th gate, and therefore
okay,
it's not
that's based. He said Might Guy needs the 8th gate to beat Kinnigan. That's a base take. I'm okay with that. I'm not too bad with that. Hey yo, $10 from Josh Farrell. What's man, bro's kind of going crazy today, bro. He's beating you, Drip Lord. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I think Josh Farrell is the new user of unlimited bans. So I don't think Tobirama was as racist as that. Wait. So I don't think that Tobirama was racist as the definition would require hate for no reason. They had a reason to hate them. The Uchiha needed to be regulated. We just don't leave. We don't just leave out the nukes. They're overpowered. Well, I mean, like, yeah, like Tobirama and the rest of the century kind of like had a reason to dislike the Uchiha clan because, like, you know, Tobirama's brother was kind of like murdered by them. You know, like his younger brother was literally murdered by like a group of grown ass adult Uchihas. They just killed a little kid basically. So I can understand why he doesn't like them, but like technically, if we're talking like realistically, he has no reason to dislike them like decades after the village has been formed and everyone is living in peace and harmony. Like, bro is just holding a grudge like a motherfucker, dude. Like, honestly. I agree with what you're saying though. Like, it's understandable. Like, if a certain race kill a member of my family, I probably wouldn't like them for a long period of time, you know. That's all I'm saying though. Found Tobirama's alt account, bro. Yeah, that's probably Tobirama. It does. I wish that space bending shit never happened. Normies take it so out of context. Yeah. I mean, he said I have arguments against the space bending thing, but he didn't say that. Like, he said that Might Guy either bent space based off his speed or his weight, which is kind of true. It's more likely that it's like the weight and density of his chakra that bent space, not his actual speed. Yo, Trip Lord, fucking donating out of spite, like a real motherfucker, bro. He said, "Is he really the new user of unlimited bans, though?" I think y'all tied right now. I think y'all tied. I'm not even sure. I haven't been keeping track, but yeah. I appreciate the 5, Drip Lord. Fucking donating out of spite is crazy. What's up, Ricky? He said, "Me and you can slam everyone." I don't know about that, Ricky. Donovan's gonna be like a, what do they call the weakest link?
necessarily a victory, but everybody dies, so I guess it's good enough. Now, Kisame is a different thing entirely. With Samehada in tow, so long as Kisame was able to open a wound on either Kinkaku or Ginkaku, or was just close enough that he was able to get Samehada in contact with their chakra, Samehada would be able to leech the chakra of both of them simultaneously, which would allow for Kisame to stay in the fight as long as they still had chakra, which is a big plus for him, because all of the chakra that Samehada absorbs feeds into Kisame as well. And considering the fact that Samehada was able to leech chakra from Killer Bee at a rate which he, a perfect Jinchuriki, was concerned about, that means to me that Samehada could rather easily deplete the version 2 Jinchuriki cloak that either Kinkaku or Ginkaku put on, and while leeching all of Kinkaku and Ginkaku's chakra from their massive
I don't know, like, it depends. Like, do you think the same amount of chakra is required to sustain a version 2 Bijou cloak? Like, Kisame could only take like 6 or 7 tails of a version 1 cloak at any given point, and he couldn't fully absorb the version 2 cloak. So I don't know if it's the same thing. I don't know if it's like 1-to-1. Drippin' Josh going ban for ban? Yeah. Bro, did Loco just say he would be racist if someone killed his brother? Nah, bro, nah, that's not what I said. Tobirama says their eyes reflect the heart, and Tobirama also has red eyes. Yeah, Tobirama just a bad motherfucker.
chakra reserves might be a bit of a stretch. It's important to note that the tail beast chakra that they have is only a sliver of what somebody like Naruto or even Killer Bee has. Now, the only real issue for Kisame in this fight is that he doesn't necessarily have the speed to avoid the usage of the treasured tools. And thus, if Kisame found himself in this battle, he would probably have his word soul stolen. And thus, he would probably have to be smart enough to not say Itachi or any variant of it. Because let's be real, that's his most said word. And thus, genuinely, I believe, so long as Kisame is able to fight this fight without being sealed in the Benishago, that he would be able to strip them of their version 2 Jinchuriki cloaks, and at which point he would be able to kill them. I mean, mind you, Kisame is called the Tailless Tailed Beast, and killing Jinchuriki is kind of his job. So all in all, I think he stands a 70% chance of survival. And this is corroborated by the fact that a nerfed Orochimaru, he didn't have the usage of his arms, really, went toe-to-toe with Naruto in his version 2 Four Tails mode. And thus I think a full-powered Orochimaru, especially one who has access to the Edo Tensei he had in the 4th Great Shinobi World War, wins with a relatively meager amount of difficulty, as all Orochimaru would really need to do is summon
well, no shit. Yeah, like he's saying, like he's giving Orochimaru Edo Tensei, so if Orochimaru just summons in like fucking full power Hashirama, like no shit Sherlock, he's gonna win pretty easily. You know, like that's kind of unfair. Like why don't you just take like Edo Tensei out of the equation? What makes you think he'd be able to use Edo Tensei before Kin and Gin start pressing him? It's like, I don't know. This is kind of bad. It's kind of turning sour.
Hashirama, and maybe Tobirama, so we can get revenge. And thus I give Orochimaru, if you're talking about the 4th Great Shinobi World War version of him, a 95% chance of success. Ironically, I would give Orochimaru less of a chance of winning this battle if there wasn't 20 Jonin he could kill and then use as conduits for Edo Tensei. Like if it was just Orochimaru versus Kinkaku and Ginkaku, they would have a worse chance at victory. But what about the other legendary summoning in this category? Jiraiya. Jiraiya is no stranger to unbalanced battles, as Jiraiya was able to defeat 4 out of the 6 Paths of Pain with no prior knowledge on how their abilities worked. And we already established that Nagato, and therefore by extension the 6 Paths of Pain, clear this challenge with next to no difficulty. However, Jiraiya unfortunately falls into a similar camp as Tobirama.
We didn't establish. Well, you said Nagato. NC Hammer said Nagato would beat them, and I let that shit slide because I didn't feel like it was worth contesting. But now all of a sudden we're bringing Pain into this, and you saying Pain would beat them like easily? I don't know, bro. I don't know about easily. I don't know if Pain is beating them easily. But even if Pain was beating Kin and Gin, what makes you think Jiraiya would be able to do that as well? Because, like, he was getting pressed by 3 out of the 6 Paths of Pain. Just 3 of them, he was saying, if I keep fighting these guys, like, straight up, I'm going to fucking die. That's why he ran away and started using Frog Song, because he wasn't able to effectively combat 3 of the Paths of Pains in combat. So, that's not even, like, a really good argument. That doesn't even, like, function. It's like, Jiraiya doesn't necessarily scale to the full power Pain, and Pain doesn't scale to fucking full power Nagato either. So I don't see why we're saying Jiraiya has any chance here. Like based off that line of reasoning, it just doesn't follow.
Rama. Huge chakra reserves, bolstered by Sage Mode, great speed, and fairly decent attack power. I'd say the strongest attack that Jiraiya has is his Big Ball Rasengan. But if Jiraiya wants to win this battle and truly punch through a version 2 Jinchuriki cloak, something that we've already established he can't do, as we already know that a version 2 Jinchuriki cloak from Naruto almost killed Jiraiya, and the only way he was able to stop the rampage was sealing tags, which I guess he may or may not have. But really when it boils down to it, the only way that I see Jiraiya winning this battle against Kinkaku and Ginkaku is either catching one or both of them in the Toad stomach and trapping them there, or 2, trapping the both of them in the demonic Toad confrontation chant, which would be tough because both Mom and Pa have to warm up their voices to use this sound-based genjutsu in the first place, and thus Jiraiya would need to avoid the onslaught of 20 shinobi simultaneously, long enough that Mom and Pa were able to sing this song to them. And thus I give Jiraiya about a 35% chance of passing this trial. But what about...
But why? Like, first of all, like, Itachi and Kisame were outrunning that shit. They were able to, run out of... Well, hold on, let me backtrack. The stomach of the Toad thing is, like, more likely than not, it requires, like, an enclosed space. Like, Jiraiya can't just summon, like, that shit out in the open. Like, he needs to lure his opponents into like, a building or, like, an alleyway. Like, we've seen that this is the case. Like, he only ever uses the Toad's stomach whenever he's, like, inside of a building, right? And he purposefully lures Rain Village Shinobi into like a bar so that he can use this jutsu. So I don't even think that would work. It would just like depend on the environment, I suppose. And as for like Frog Song, that would require him to be able to go into Sage Mode in the first place, which is already extremely contentious if he'd even be able to make it that far against Kin, Gin, and 20 other Shinobi. Like, that shit probably just isn't happening. Like, honestly, base Jiraiya is probably losing to these guys. He is losing to these guys, I'll say it. So like, unless you throw him in there with Sage Mode, like Jiraiya is just gonna get fucking folded. And as for Minato, I've already talked about this. I have made the arguments for Kinkaku and Gigaku beating Minato before.
About Jiraiya's student, Minato. Well, Minato's actually a really interesting ask, because Minato essentially has Tobirama's kit, with the addition of Sage Mode and the Rasengan, but with the substitution of Edo Tensei. And while Tobirama never used Edo Tensei in the way that Kabuto or Orochimaru use it, that is to say, to use Edo Tensei to bring back the strongest ninja of all time, and therefore Tobirama didn't use Edo Tensei as well as Kabuto or Orochimaru, him being able to use it is a massive plus in any battle, and thus this puts Minato in a somewhat odd position. See, Minato has a massive chakra pool, one of the biggest in the entirety of Naruto's history, Flying Raijin and
Not true.
Rasengan. But is that enough to clear the Kinkaku force? Maybe. As we've already seen, Minato has the ability to teleport tailed beast bombs away from certain locations, as Minato is able to teleport tailed beast bomb fired by Kurama away from Konoha. And we know from his one-shot that he was able to defeat a version of Kurama.
I don't know, bro. Like, what if Kinkaku shoots a Bijou bomb at Minato, and then while he's performing guiding thunder, Genkaku just runs up from the side and like hits Minato like right in his shit. Like, what is Minato doing? He's just like stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like, he might just be getting folded, in all honesty. I don't know about that.
Inside of Kushina, comparable to how Naruto, after learning Sage Mode, was able to defeat a version of Kurama.
Minato equals the pubic hair of Tobirama. What the hell?
Inside of himself, meaning that Minato could be roughly scaled to Kurama in terms of AP. Tie that into the fact that he is definitely too fast.
What did he say, bro? What did he say?
Kurama away from Konoha. And we know from his one-shot that he was able to defeat a version of Kurama inside of Kushina, comparable to how Naruto, after learning Sage Mode, was able to defeat a version of Kurama inside of himself, meaning that Minato could be roughly scaled to Kurama in terms.
Fuck no. Fuck no. He's attempting to scale Minato to like fucking full power Kurama, which, holy shit, you'd never be able to prove that, bruh. That's all I'm saying. You'd never be able to prove that. Like, Minato, from the one shot, Minato had like, or Kurama had like 3 seals placed on him, plus the adamantine chains, which are like stated to, what was it? Stated to suppress his chakra. Like, Kushina herself says that like her chains are suppressing the Nine Tails chakra. And like his full power is like basically unscalable. Like, you'd never be able to prove that he's like not only using like a fraction of his power at that point in time.
Terms of AP. Tie that into the fact that he is definitely too fast to have his word soul taken. I mean, he literally hit a
What's up,
combo
serial
user, one of the
designation?
only people in history to ever pull that feat off, and he holds the highest ever score on the Shinobi exam, meaning he's one of the smartest Shinobi of all time, and I think his intellects mixed with his high-level Rasengan give him a fairly good shot at winning this fight. Also, he's used to 1v-manys, as in the Third Great Shinobi World War, he cut down 50 Jonin from the Hidden Stone by himself. Tie that into the
Alright, scale those 50 Jonin. Like, why are they as highly skilled like the Kin and Gin squad? Like, they might not be shit. Especially when you have like Kin and Gin, who are like Raikage level threats, who Minato is blatantly stated to be relative to in terms of speed. So like, if the Raikage could just like no diff Kin and Gin at any given point in time, he due to like a speed blitz, like he wouldn't consider them to be a threat whatsoever. Yet he does. He says that once Kinkaku goes into his like version 2 state, none of us will be able to stop him. Like, no individual in the Shinobi Alliance will be able to stop Kinkaku, according to the Raikage, which would include him, right? So, like, if he's, like, basically admitting inferiority to Kinkaku, that means that his speed wouldn't be enough to defeat Kinkaku. So, like, Kin has to at least be able to, like, react to the Raikage in order to defeat him, and the Raikage's speed is, like, stated to be not inferior to Minato. That's how I scaled Kin and Gin to like the Raikage and Minato tier, basically. So yeah. 50? I thought it was 1,000. Nah, 1,000 is filler. Like that comes from like a fake ass filler episode in which Onoki implies that Minato killed like 1,000 shinobi. But that shit never happened in the manga.
The possible use of the Reaper Death Seal, and while that isn't technically a victory, it's good enough, and thus I would give Minato a roughly 80% chance of success in a battle against the Kinkaku Force. But what about the guy who trained Jiraiya's teacher, Hiruzen, or more specifically, Prime Hiruzen? See, Prime Hiruzen is tough, because
yeah, he probably wouldn't.
Hiruzen was supposed to be the person battling against the Kinkaku Force in the first place, and in the moment that Hiruzen volunteers himself to be the decoy to make sure that everybody else can get away, he even goes so far as to say, while it may not look like it, I'm better than all of you. Going even further to say that he would win in this battle against 20 fighting shinobi and two descendants of Hagoromo. And while he could have just been trying to assuage everybody's worries about his upcoming death, we know so little about what his prime looked like, he could have been speaking the truth. Because here's the thing, he would have had Monkey King Enma, he would have been faster, he would have been stronger, he would have had more chakra, and therefore his ninjutsu would have been more powerful. And if we take his feats against Orochimaru and scale those even higher, and considering the fact that those feats were a 70-year-old man battling against Orochimaru and let's say a 30% power Hashirama and Tobirama simultaneously, we can probably say for how powerful Hiruzen was at that moment in his life, his battle against Orochimaru was probably of a comparable difficulty level than if he was in his prime battling against the Kinkaku force.
Alright, bro, I don't know about that, bro. That was a whole lot of baseless assumptions. We gotta listen to that one more time.
Everybody's worries about his upcoming death, we know so little about what his prime looked like, he could have been speaking the truth. Because here's the thing, he would have had Monkey King Enma, he would have been faster, he would have been stronger, he would have had more chakra, and therefore his ninjutsu would have been more powerful. And if we take his feats against Orochimaru and scale those even higher, and considering the fact that those feats were a 70-year-old man battling against Orochimaru and let's say a 30% power Hashirama and Tobirama simultaneously,
this is a bunch of headcanon. Holy shit.
we can probably say for how powerful Hiruzen was at that moment in his life, his battle against Orochimaru was probably of a comparable difficulty level than if he was in his prime battling against the Kinkaku force. The issue with throwing a prime Hiruzen into this battle is that he kind of falls into the same camp as Tobirama. That is to say that he doesn't necessarily have the AP to punch through a version 2 Jinchuriki cloak. At least not from anything we've seen from him. But once again, we've never seen him in his prime. But I have not a singular ounce of hesitancy in me when I say that a prime Hiruzen should be able to take on 20 high-level shinobi. As Hiruzen in the beginning of Naruto was referred to as the strongest shinobi of all time, the literal god of shinobi. But when it boils down to it, I believe that Hiruzen's only path to victory in a battle against Kinkaku and Ginkaku would be through the medium of a Reaper Death Seal, which a prime Hiruzen might not have actually known. Because while obviously the Uzumaki were a part of Konoha from its very founding, and that's when Hiruzen was born, we're not entirely sure if he learned the Reaper Death Seal from the Uzumaki in the village, or just from their presence, or from textbooks in Konoha, or if he learned of the Reaper Death Seal from Minato using it in his battle.
Blunt, what's up, bro? Bro just made the longest baseless rant with headcanon math, lol. Yeah. I'm just kind of at a loss for words after that.
But regardless, I'm going to say that I feel fairly certain that Prime Hiruzen could draw the Kinkaku force through the usage of the Reaper Death Seal. But enough about that.
Yeah, probably.
What about the person who was upset that the next person we're going to talk about killed their entire clan because Hiruzen's underling, Danzo, convinced... We're talking about Itachi. I didn't really have a good segue there. Now I'm going to be very for real right now and say something that'll probably garner a couple of hate comments on this video. I don't think Itachi's got a great chance here. He's fast. Yeah, one of the fastest in the show. He's also one of the smartest and most tactical shinobi in the entire universe, holding on to the second highest ever score on the shinobi exam. And Kinkaku and Ginkaku are not perfect Jinchuriki, which means that they're as vulnerable to Genjutsu as everybody else. But when it comes down to it, if you're asking me if Itachi, the man with some of the lowest chakra levels in the entirety of the Naruto...
That's not true. Like, Itachi has bad stamina due to his, like, sickness or whatever, but there's nothing to say that he has, like, bad chakra reserves. It's never stated or implied whatsoever. It could just be due to his illness that takes him out of the fight sooner.
Universe could battle against 20 Asuma level threats and Kinkaku and Ginkaku, who would need to be taken down with either Amaterasu, Tsukiyomi, or the Totsuka Blade.
Why does he require any of that to defeat the 20 highly skilled shinobi? Like, I mean, I don't know. It depends on how you want to scale those guys. Like, if you want to say they're truly Akatsuki tier, like low to mid Akatsuki tier, like, let's say it's like fucking 20 Hidans, Kakazus, and Konans, like, maybe he might lose to that shit, but, like fucking NC Hammer thinks that these guys are only Asuma level, so, like, if these 20 shinobi are only Asuma level, then why is Itachi losing to that shit? Like, why does he need the Susanoo to deal with those Asuma level shinobi then? And he already admitted that Genjutsu and Amaterasu and the Totsuka Blade are, like, the Kin and Gin are prone to those kind of attacks, basically. So I don't know why he's downplaying Itachi like this.
I'm gonna say no. I don't think he has a battery large enough to figure that out. And while sure, from the beginning of his fight, he could activate his Susanoo and equip his Totsuka Blade and his Yadomir, just get to swinging and cut down the 20 Jonin and possibly nick Kinkaku and Ginkaku so that everybody gets sealed into the realm of drunken dreams, Kinkaku and Ginkaku can fire tailed beast bombs. And the Yadomir, if it even can deflect a tailed beast bomb, can only protect one side of the Susanoo at a time. And Itachi Susanoo is not a complete Susanoo, so it's not that mobile. And so while I don't think it's impossible for Itachi to win this battle, Yagura almost killed him. And
Alright, so I'll get to this in a second, but, like, why are these tiny-tailed beast bombs, like, doing anything? Can you demonstrate that these Bijou bombs would do anything to Itachi Susanoo? Because they're not fully fledged Bijou bombs. They're not like the ones that KCM2 Naruto uses, or even like a full power Bijou. They're just like if I were to make an estimation, they're between like what 4 to 6 tails Naruto was using, like respectively. It kind of depends because like on how many tails like Kinkaku and Genkaku can pull out, but like I don't see how you'd be able to demonstrate that they have the attack potency necessary to break through the armored Susanoo. And I don't know why we're acting like the Yatamir wouldn't be able to deflect it, because he seemed skeptical and he was like, well, even if the Yatamir could deflect these Bijou bombs, when I don't see why it wouldn't be able to. Like, it's stated to be able to reflect and make all attacks meaningless, and Bijou bombs did exist at that point when the statement was made, because Naruto had used them against Orochimaru not too far before that. So yeah. And as for this Yagura stuff, this is just blatantly not canon. I don't even think this appears in the Itachi light novels. If I may be mistaken about this, but I'm pretty sure this stuff with like Juzo and Yagura is like only canon to the anime, unless maybe it does appear in the light novels. I cannot remember for the life of me. But either way, this is like a very young version of Itachi, and this is the first time he's ever used Amaterasu. He doesn't even have access to the Susanoo yet. The only thing he's used up until this point is Tsukuyomi, according to the light novels. So yeah, I don't see why we're even bringing this up.
Yagura is just one perfect Jinchuriki. Itachi isn't able to use Amaterasu or Tsukuyomi or his Susanoo
Exactly, so Yagura is a perfect Jinchuriki compared to Ken and Gin pseudo Jinchurikis. Like, I don't see why Itachi wouldn't be able to take care of it when like a younger version of Itachi just like one-shotted him with Amaterasu.
multiple times in one day, let alone multiple times in a couple of hours. And when faced with the threat of two separate Jinchuriki, he would have to use his MS abilities at least twice. So all in all, I give Itachi about a 20% chance of winning this battle alone. Itachi is insanely powerful, but more in a 1v1 capacity than in a 1v-many capacity. Oh, I just realized I forgot some people. Killer Bee with or without Samehada stands a very good chance, as Killer Bee showed in his complete transformation mode that he was able to go toe-to-toe with the Ten Tails in terms of AP, being able to shove a tailed beast ball back down the Ten Tails' throat with a tailed beast ball of his own. But admittedly, he was also downright embarrassed by Edo Nagato, though Edo Nagato was the strongest version of Nagato we ever saw. And while we're talking about the Hidden Cloud, I don't necessarily know why they would be battling against Kinkaku and Ginkaku. The third and fourth Raikage also stand a very good chance, as they both scale to at least Gyuki, as the third Raikage was able to fight Gyuki to a standstill, and the fourth Raikage should be about as strong as the third Raikage. And their Hell Stab,
I don't know, man. The fourth Raikage did say that no one in the Alliance stands a chance once Kikaku transforms into his Bijou state. I don't know if the Raikage is doing all that. Like, honestly, they might just be wiping everyone on or below the Raikage and Minato's tier, but people that are, like, higher than that, like Itachi, for example, I would say that Itachi might have a hard time with them, but it's like it's definitely not out of his ability to defeat them. Like, not at all, you know.
especially in its one finger conformation, can cut through tailed beasts like Gyuki. And therefore, if it can cut through a tailed beast, it can cut through a tailed beast version 2 cloak. Not to mention the third and fourth Raikage with their lightning cloaks should be some of the fastest people in the universe. Much faster than Kinkaku or Ginkaku, who have never shown to be able to use that ability. Not to mention that anybody coming from the Hidden Cloud would also be aware of Kinkaku and Ginkaku's abilities. So I would say that Killer Bee, the third and fourth Raikage all have about an 80% chance of victory against Kinkaku and Ginkaku, which makes sense if you think about it. They all are tied to the Raikage clan in some way or another. And since the Raikage is supposed to be the most powerful person in the village, and Kinkaku and Ginkaku were never the Raikage, any and all Raikage should stand a good chance against them. Now let's talk about some people who could feasibly.
You could say that they weren't in the village, like they left the village after they beat the second Raikage. So if they left the village after they beat the second Raikage, then neither that statement wouldn't apply to them under the reign of the third or fourth Raikage. I'll say that. That is a possibility. I'm not gonna say, like, yeah, Ricky, the third Raikage probably does beat them. Like, I don't think they have a way of breaking through his cloak thingy, but it's just like that statement wouldn't, like, it doesn't have to apply to them, basically. Hey, yo, €2 from Serial Designation. What's up, bro? I thought you left already. I thought you said goodbye. Maybe I'm tweaking. Maybe I'm just remembering wrong. Bro said Tobirama's beating Kisame, who's beating Minato. Simple. That is a very great yet simple scaling chain. I like that. I like that. Tobirama is beating Minato. I like that. Minato is a Kisame victim as well.
Make it out of this confrontation alive, but their chances are so slim, it's not really worth talking about. That list would include people like Tsunade, Hokage Kakashi, and Yamato. All three of these people have a legit.
Yeah, I don't know about Tsunade. Like, I don't think the signing are touching Ken and Gin. Like, realistically. And did he say Yamato? Holy shit. Oh, because Yamato can suppress Ninetales chakra? Even so, like, Yamato doesn't have the scaling to keep up with these guys, and he really has nothing for Bijou bombs either.
Legitimate path to victory, but that path is so narrow and so winding that it's basically not worth talking about. And with that, that's basically everybody. All the people that would stand a chance against the Kinkaku force that Tobirama failed to. But I'm curious to hear from you guys. Is there anybody who didn't make this list who you believe stands a chance, or is there anybody on this list who you believe doesn't deserve to be on it? Tell me in the comments below. And Dwight.
Alright. That was certainly a video. I'll say that NC was doing good up until like the 25-minute mark when he started just doing math. Like he tried to start doing like math and pulling numbers out of his butt. And at that point, I think that's when the video fell off. But like for the first like 2/3 of the video, he was doing pretty good. I'll say that. Did he say Hokage Kakashi? Yeah, Kakashi's underrated. He whooped Ken again pretty badly. I don't think he needs to be Hokage Kakashi though. Like War Kakashi could probably do it. Ken and Gin are most certainly slamming the likes of Minato though. Not even gonna lie. Not even gonna lie. Alright, let's see what chat's been up to. NC did once say that he thought Kisame versus Tsunade would be good. Holy shit. Kisame is quite literally clapping those cheeks. He's giving her titty twisters. His 5-finger spear is equal to the lightning blade and he can make it stronger by lowering his fingers. That's not necessarily true. I mean, I see where you're coming from. But Naruto only compares it to the lightning blade. He doesn't say it's as strong as the Raikiri is. So like whenever Dodai says like, yeah, it's a high-speed jab that the Raikage uses, he's like, oh, so it's similar to Kakashi's Chidori and Kakashi's Raikiri and Sasuke's Chidori, but he doesn't say it's as strong as them. Just similar in principle. Yamato could beat Kinkaku, lol. What makes you think that? Hokage Kakashi is cool? Yeah, definitely. Hokage Kakashi is washing Hashirama? Yeah, possibly. I could see it. I can see it, bro. I gotta leave now. I just thought before I leave, I drop a little support for one of my favorite Naruto content creators. Keep up the good work, Loco. Hey, man, I appreciate that. And by the way, Serial and everyone else, there is a vid dropping tomorrow morning. Big Loco is indeed back. I am dropping a vid tomorrow morning. I hinted about it already on the channel. But yeah, it's probably dropping in what, like 13 hours maybe? Alright, catch you later, Serial. Have a good one. The third Raikage spear is most certainly above the Raikiri. It's not what I said, Slicky. You retard. I was saying, well, he was using Naruto's statement to infer that they were the same, and I was saying that doesn't have to be the case, but it probably does have like a higher piercing power, to be honest. The lightning cloak is a better jutsu than Chidori? Like, yeah, most definitely. Like, the lightning cloak is fucking cracked, bro. It's insane, dude. Loco, you gotta stop sleeping on Alive Itachi's stamina. It's high-key equal to or greater than Heavy Sasuke's. Well, I don't think I was sleeping on his stamina. Like, I was trying to defend his stamina. Because NC said that he has, like, some of the fucking lowest chakra reserves in the entire series. And I'm like, no, that's never once stated or shown. It's just, like, his sickness is what lowers his stamina and gives him that appearance. But he still can last for, like, a good amount of time, you know? Imagine the third Raikage with Sage Mode. Oh lord, man. He'd be cracked. Holy shit. Bro, imagine he had like Frog Kata. He would hit even harder. That's crazy. Maybe he would get strong enough to not be a fourth Raikage victim. Head ass. Oh man. Sage mode seems exclusive to the Leaf Village Shinobi. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, none of the other nations had the common sense to learn Sage mode. It's like only people from the Hidden Leaf. It's kind of weird. But they all know about it too. Like, Pain is from the Rain Village, and he spent his entire life in the Rain Village, and he knows exactly, he knows like all about Sage mode. And there's no proof that Jiraiya like told them anything about it, or taught them the principles of it, or like whatsoever. Pretty sure Obito knew about it as well. I think Itachi did too. Like, Itachi recognized Sage mode, or Kabuto Sage mode, like immediately. I mean, technically he is from the Hidden Leaf though, so he probably heard about it. You sleep on Hiruzen? No, I don't. I said Prime Hiruzen is cracked earlier. He's pretty strong. Raikage's with Sage mode rapes all iterations of Tobirama. What the fuck is he talking about, bruh? What a weirdo. Why would you say that? Imagine Naruto with a wind cloak. Bruh, he'd just be like Aang. He deadass just be like Avatar Aang. Deadass. Like, whenever Aang goes into his avatar state, like the wind starts going everywhere, that's literally what Naruto would be like. Imagine like a fire cloak though, that shit would be dope. Like, Obito should have had that shit. I feel like if anyone in the entire series needed like a fire release chakra cloak, it would have been Obito. Like, just so he isn't like a one-trick pony anymore. Like, that shit would go so hard. NC's takes are Kisame versus Minato would be close, and Orochimaru over Tobirama. What the hell? One finger spear would deadass cut Jubidar in half. Unprovable, unfortunately. Raikage with the one-tail cloak. How far does Aang make it in JJ Clay? I said JJ Clay, what the hell? Aang might be clearing, not even gonna lie. Aang might be clearing. It just depends. Like, I'm gonna teach y'all something real quick. It just depends on how you interpret the feats, because like everyone, like take Iroh for example. Iroh is able to redirect lightning bolts like that come directly from the sky, and Zuko and Aang, I believe Aang also redirected a lightning bolt against Fire Lord Ozai. Whenever during his final fight against Fire Lord Ozai, he redirected one of his lightning bolts, if I remember correctly. So like, theoretically, big ass word, he should be a lightning timer. But if we're thinking about it in like real life, that's not how lightning works. Like, hold on, let me cover this up. Like, lightning doesn't work that way in real life. Like, it strikes the ground first, but its initial strike, the downstroke, is invisible to the naked eye. Like, when lightning touches the ground, it's invisible. And when it shoots back up, that is the visible, like, flash of light. It looks like it's traveling downwards, but it's actually going back up to the sky. So, like, fiction in general, and like anime and manga, just like constantly misrepresent what lightning is. Because lightning doesn't strike downwards, it strikes upwards. It goes back up to the sky. So like, Kakashi being a lightning timer doesn't even really make sense, because he'd have to be like falling downwards and cutting the lightning bolt as it's going back up to the clouds, right? So like, I was telling Sage at Thick Kaz about this, and I was like, it doesn't really make sense for people from Avatar to be lightning timers, because the lightning is always striking down at them, which means that it's only like I mean, it's still like a couple hundred times faster than the speed of sound, which is pretty fast, but like the lightning timer stuff, that's like the relativistic speeds, where you're like 1/3 the speed of light, like extremely fast, like much faster than a couple hundred times faster than the speed of sound, you know? So like, it kind of just depends on like how you want to interpret it. If you're taking like a literal real world physics stance, then like Aang would only be, I mean I'm not gonna say only, because being several hundred times faster than sound is still fast, but it's still not like, it's not like relativistic, like the real true speed of the return stroke of lightning. Ramen Guy is an outer versal threat in base. When he activated Ichiraku Sage mode, he can basically annihilate all of fiction on a whim. Fucking hell. Like, bro, that ladle of his, you know the ladle that he uses to put the ramen in the bowl? That's just kind of like shitting on all of One Piece. That bum ass verse isn't doing anything to Ramen Guy. Hell Stab is greater than Kamui Raikiri? What the hell? Oh man, it was a fun stream. I enjoyed reacting to that NC Hammer video. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Alice kind of like hyped it up to be like a bad video, but it wasn't all that bad. It was a pretty cool stream though. I think I'm about to head out, but I appreciate everyone that came by today. I know it's a weekday, but still had a bunch of fun. People were actually I wasn't expecting like donations because it's like kind of like a weekday, but thanks to everyone that did. Like Steven came in first with that, and then Whisper, of course. I don't know if Whisper's still here anymore, but yeah, if you are, I appreciate that, man. Of course, Driplord and Josh were going band for band for a couple minutes there. I lost track of who won. I think Josh won in the end, actually. Did he win? I'm not gonna keep track. I feel like that's toxic, but that was a whole lot of fun. I appreciate that. Of course, Serial Designation as well. Showing me a whole lot of love, being very generous. I appreciate that from you guys. Thank you a whole lot for showing up, spending your time with me tonight. But of course, a new vid is dropping tomorrow. It's gonna be a whole lot of fun. And yeah, be on the lookout for that. And hopefully you guys have a good rest of your week. I'm trying to be pretty productive, so I probably won't stream until like later this weekend. But yeah, had a fun night. I'm gonna catch y'all later. Peace.